This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. This video is brought to you by BetUS.
And let's get to it here, everyone. Let's get to it here. So, starting at number 30, like we always do, and we're going to go all the way to number 1. Here we go. At number 30. You know, it was a little interesting for the 30 spot for this week because, you know, usually you got that one team every single year where it looks like they're going to be set in stone, but we had a little bit of movement in the bottom 3 for this week. I decided to go with the White Sox at number 30 for this week because the Rockies and the Marlins, they actually showed some good stuff this week. I mean, how about the Marlins this week? I mean, my goodness, winning a couple of series. Who saw that one coming? I mean, my goodness. But for the White Sox, they started off the week pretty well. Got a series win against the Nationals, and then they just got swept by the Yankees, right? You got Eric Fedde pitching well. Garrett Crochet's pitching well. Andrew Vaughn doing some things in the lineup, but just not really all that much going on for the White Sox other than that. At number 29, we got the Rockies. They started off their week great, sweeping the Padres, and then they got swept by the Giants. And Maury's Life in the chat with a $1.99 super chat. How you doing? Actually, a couple of super chats. I am happy to be a Giants fan. I love the positivity. Usually, it is more on the sad side from you, my friend. But I'm glad to see some happiness. And you go on here to say, being a Giants fan right now feels amazing. Hey, good week for the Giants. I mean, look, I've been saying this. You know, we all saw the offseason they had. You know, they got a good team, but it's just getting it together here. Let's see if they can start putting together. Maury's Life, thank you so much for the super chats to start things off. But for the Rockies, you know, you do got some guys in this lineup producing. You know, Tavar having a good week. Ryan McMahon's been hitting well. And Jordan Beck, you know, hey, this guy got drafted not too long ago. I believe he was the 38th pick overall in the draft. And he just got called up recently, and he's starting to hit pretty well, hitting over 300 with a couple of homers in his last 7 games. So, hey, give it up for him. At number 28, how about the Marlins, man? The Marlins making some noise here. You got to like it. And doing some work against the Mets. Some clutch hitting from Josh Bell, 3-run homer to tie the game. Or was it a 3-run? Yeah, it was a 3-run homer against Edwin Diaz in the 9th. I mean, we'll talk about Edwin Diaz in just a little bit, but on Saturday night, he came up big for the Marlins. They ended up walking that one off on Saturday night, but winning their series against the Tigers and the Mets this week. Jazz Chisholm, he's been red hot, hitting over 300 with over a 500 slugging in his last 7 games. So, hey, how about those Marlins? Huh? Number 28, I think that's their highest spot this year. It's either the highest they've been or it's tied for the high. I don't know if this is a record for them this year, but either way, hey, fun stuff from the Marlins. But we need that fire sale. You all know I love my trades, so we got to get that fire sale going. Number 27. We got the Angels, up and down week for the Angels, losing 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals, but hey, then winning their series against the Rangers this past weekend. Gotta love it. How about Soriano today? What a performance from him. 7 2/3, 1 earned against the Rangers here. Pilar, Moniak, Rengifo coming up big today with the offense. Friday, we had Tyler Anderson pitching really well. 7 innings, 2 hits, and 1 earned. I mean, what a performance, Tyler Anderson. Hey, maybe he could be a candidate at the trade deadline. You know, he's got that contract, but let's see. Maybe they could move him. Calhoun, Nato, they had good series against the Rangers. Willie Calhoun, hey, he had himself a good series as well. Up next, how about the Oakland A's, man? I mean, they were looking like a fun story, and they have just come crashing back down to earth. Speaking of crashing down, did anyone see the meteor that was flying, or where was that? I don't remember where that was, but that looked phenomenal. I was seeing all these videos all over Twitter land or X land, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I'm guessing that crash landed somewhere, I don't know, or broke up into a million pieces. But that's how the A's are right now. My goodness, getting swept by the Astros, the Royals. They've lost 8 straight games. Their offense is completely tanked. Their offense was doing some things, but now it's just nothing. The starting pitching has not been great. Mason Miller is the story of the Oakland A's this year. He pitched really well against Houston the other night. He went 2 innings. 14 of his 29 pitches were fastballs, and every single one of those fastballs hit at least 100.5 miles per hour. You got to love that. Mason Miller, could he be a trade candidate? I would be shocked if the Oakland A's trade him. I really would. This is a guy, I mean, they have big plans for him to be in the rotation down the road. But you never know, man. You never know with these small market teams. It could benefit the A's to look into some trades, especially if a team is going to overpay for someone like Mason Miller. We'll see. Maury's Life, it was in Spain. Thank you for that, my friend. I was thinking, like, was it Portugal? I couldn't remember. But yeah, Mason Miller, man. He keeps on keeping on. Up next, how about the Blue Jays, man? I don't know what to think of this Blue Jays team. Had a couple with the Orioles this week, losing 2 out of 3 to the Rays. They split with Baltimore, but the offense is slumping hard. I mean, when the guy that we're going to focus on is Daniel Vogelbach, there is a problem, right? Because this is the guy that, you know, has been the top performer recently, it seems, for the Blue Jays. Hit his first home run of the year today. He went 3 for 4 with a homer and a double today. So they've been getting some decent starting pitching. It's been a bit up and down. Gosman with a quality start against the Rays. Manoah came up big again today. 7 innings, 1 hit. Is Alek Manoah back? Are we starting to see Alek Manoah get back to that form? I mean, my goodness, like that would be huge for the Blue Jays. But the bullpen has been an issue. Or they've been just blowing saves this week. Romano had a blown save against the Orioles. Pearson, what the heck happened to Nate Pearson, man? This is a guy I remember back in like 2020. We're all talking about like Nate Pearson being like, you know, like this next big thing for the Blue Jays, and you know, my goodness, like what's even going on with him? He took a loss this week to the Rays. So this Blue Jays team, man, they just continue to flounder. At number 24. Got the Cardinals heating up a little bit. Got the Cardinals making some noise. I mean, hey, they took it to my Red Sox this weekend. I always love it when the Red Sox and the Cardinals have themselves a series. Just has that classic feel to it. You know, even just, you know, going back to 2004, he had those couple of World Series there. He had that one back in 67. I always like it when they play. It's just those classic teams, man. But they won their series against the Red Sox this weekend. Won 2 out of 3 against the Angels. The Bats are heating up, second in offense in their last 7 games. Burleson, Nootbaar, they've been doing a lot here. Burleson with a couple of home runs this past week. Nootbaar with a home run this past week. Paul Goldschmidt finally showing some signs of life, as well as Brendan Donovan. Brendan Donovan, that's a catalyst kind of a guy. And he's getting himself going a little bit lately. Arenado is starting to pick it up a little bit too. So maybe this Cardinals team is about to go on a run. We'll see. Sonny Gray, Michaelis, Gibson, they picked up wins this past week. Michaelis was having a bad season, and of course he turned in a good start against my Red Sox. You know, that happened with Patrick Corbin not too long ago. Like, what's going on with the planning with my Red Sox when it comes to, you know, these guys where they're not having good seasons and they come to Boston and then they just twirl like gem. I mean, I don't get it. Sonny Gray, he looks solid against the Angels. So, yeah, the Cardinals, they bump up a couple of spots to this week. Let's see if they can keep it going. Number 23, some of you might find this surprising. I got the Reds. I don't know, maybe it's not that surprising, but I got the Reds. You know, considering the Cardinals had a good week and the Reds have just not been playing good baseball for what feels like 8 months now. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with this Reds team. I mean, losing 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks, losing their series against the Dodgers. There's just not any offense going on. Ellie De La Cruz, he got hot there for a little bit, but he's cooled down. They're getting some pretty decent pitching. You know, Hunter Green, Abbott, they had solid starts this past week. Both went to the 7th inning there. Ashcraft, he looked okay today, but there's just no offense going, right? Montas, he had a pretty decent performance against the Dodgers, but there's just no offense, right? I mean, you got no run support here in Cincinnati. How about the Pittsburgh Pirates? Number 22, Paul Skeens. My goodness, Paul Skeens. Man, oh man. Looking really good this past weekend. They did lose 2 out of 3 to the Brewers, but then they won their series against the Cubs this weekend. They've gotten 4 straight quality starts out of that rotation. Let's start with Paul Skeens. He's the big story right now. He threw a 6-inning no-hitter, 11 strikeouts. Here's some fun facts about the Paul Skeens start. First pitcher in the modern era to pitch 6 innings, no hits, and 10 strikeouts in at least one of his first 2 starts. My goodness. Struck out the first 7 batters against the Cubs this past weekend. That's the 3rd longest streak for a rookie in Major League Baseball history, and tied for the longest strikeout streak in Pirates history. So Paul Skeens already making an impact. Like I said, they're getting great starting pitching. It's not just Paul Skeens. Keller, he looked good against the Cubs today. 6 innings, 2 earned. Jared Jones, man, continues to have a great season. He looked good against the Cubs, had a quality start. Falter, he pitched really well against the Cubs. 7 2/3. I mean, no earned. I mean, my goodness, this pitching has been great for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They are turning it up. They're even getting some production from this offense. Andrew McCutchen, this guy, just like Giraffe Neck Mark always says, age is like fine wine. Andrew McCutchen has been hitting well lately. Nick Gonzalez came up recently. I was calling for that. It's like, my goodness, Pittsburgh needs some offense, and why is this guy down in the minor leagues? He's hitting well. Let's get him up to the majors. And he's starting to produce a little bit. Connor Joe doing some things. Brian Reynolds doing some things. So, hey, the Pirates, got off to a bad start this week, but, hey, had themselves a good weekend. Gotta love it. How about this team heating up a little bit? We got the Astros. Let's dive into Houston a little bit. I guarantee there's an Astros fan in this chat right now thinking, 21? Are you kidding me? I think this is the right spot for the Astros. I mean, we all have seen the bad start they've gotten off to. I think this is a season high for them, if you don't count like going back to like the preseason rankings. But the Astros are looking great. This is the Astros team we've been waiting for. I mean, luckily, Oakland, they just slumped just extremely hard over the last couple of weeks. So the Astros benefited from that, sweeping them, then winning 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks this weekend. Like I've been saying, man, this Astros team has good offense. They've had a good offense all year. I've not been worried about this Astros offense. It's just been the pitching. And, of course, the winning lately has been with some good pitching, right? Once this pitching got going, here we are. They are 4th in Fangraph WAR for the starting pitching over the last 7 games. Verlander, sure, did take an L against the Brewers. Not a great start. Went into the 5th inning, 4 earned runs. But Christian Javier, great start against the A's. Valdez, 7 shutout against the A's. Arrighetti, he got a win against the A's. So yeah, they're taking advantage of that weaker A's team. But hey, even Hunter Brown looked decent against the Brewers. Got himself a win over 5 innings. So, hey, we got ourselves an Astros team waking up. Let's see if they can keep up this momentum going into the next week. So, let's get to the next tier. I'm seeing some of your comments. Let me dive into the chat a little bit here. We got some Trash Tros comments. We got Astros suck in the chat. I mean, I know the Astros are always going to have the haters. I've completely moved on from the whole trash can thing with the Astros. I mean, listen, they won a World Series after that. I'm just ready to move on. Let's see. Golden, they're playing mid teams. I mean, yeah, but hey, listen, sometimes playing those, weaker teams, those mid teams, those are the series that can kind of help a team get their mojo back a little bit. We'll see. All right, let's move on here. Let's get to the next tier. Coming in at number 20. We got, actually, who do I have at number 20? I forgot to number my teams on my notes. And so yeah, there we go. The Diamondbacks. Up and down week, right? Winning a series in the beginning of the week and then just losing, right, this past weekend and losing 2 out of 3. The offense, it's just been meh for the most part, right? 10 hits, or they had 10 runs, or what was it? 10 runs today for the Diamondbacks? Let me just double check that. What did they score today? They had 10 hits today. They won 6-4 against the Tigers. So, did I just put with the Astros? They won 2 out of 3 against Arizona. That's not correct. Why did I put Arizona? I goofed on that. Who did the Astros play again? Oh my goodness. Oh, they played Milwaukee. Why did I put Arizona there for the Astros? Sorry about that. Astros winning 2 out of 3 against the Brewers. And the Diamondbacks winning 2 out of 3 against the Tigers. But like I said, offense has been up and down for the Diamondbacks lately. Sure, they got some runs across the board today, had 10 hits. Newman's been hitting well for them. McCarthy, finally starting to see something from Jake McCarthy. My goodness. I mean, this is a guy who got off to a pretty good start when he first came up with the Diamondbacks, but, we saw nothing from him last year, basically. Christian Walker, a home run this past week, but everyone else has just been meh. I mean, not including today, coming into today, not really a whole lot of offense lately. The starting pitching, the results, not great. ERA of a 5.97 over the last 7 games, but the FIP is a lot better at 3.00. Zach Gallen continues to have problems with the injuries. Got his hamstring tightening up against the Tigers this weekend, so let's see if Gallen can get himself right. Fott, he looked great against Cincinnati earlier in the week. He got the no decision, 7 innings, 1 earned, a no decision for Jordan Montgomery as well. But Nelson, Ciccone, I mean, just they got pounded. So I don't know, the Diamondbacks just kind of a whatever week. So, oh yeah, let's get into this next one. I got a lot of notes on the Mets. I was typing up my notes today, kind of, looking through all the numbers, and I just kept typing and typing and typing, and I'm like, wow, I have a lot for the Mets. Terrible week for the Mets, right? Losing 3 out of 4 to the Phillies, losing 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. Edwin Diaz. What is happening here with Edwin Diaz? He's looking like 2019 Edwin Diaz. I mean, my goodness, this guy was on top of the world just a couple of years ago. He had the unfortunate injury at the World Baseball Classic. And, that's why I'm going to give Edwin Diaz some time because, listen, when you miss an entire year, right, it's just inevitable that you're going to run into some issues, right? I mean, he's not at that peak where he was a couple of years ago. It's going to take him some time, but obviously, Edwin Diaz is just not looking great. 3 blown saves in his last 6 appearances. He gave up 4 earned to the Marlins this past weekend. Josh Bell with the big home run there. He had back-to-back blown saves against the Phillies. The velocity is a little bit down. He's averaging around 97 miles an hour, where a couple years ago he was around 99 miles an hour. ERA at a 5.50, FIP at a 5.09 coming into today. Yeah, man, this guy's just leaving meatballs over the plate. He's 2.5 home runs per 9 right now. The advanced metrics still look good. When you go to StatCast, you still see a lot of red for Edwin Diaz. But I took a closer look. I tried to, be as analytical as I could with this. And it looks like a big problem with Edwin Diaz right now. The velocity is down a little bit. So I wonder if that's a bit of a mechanical issue. Obviously, tearing his ACL. I mean, so my guess is maybe there's still some strength to be acquired back there. So maybe that will help with the velocity a little bit. But the slider right now is not good. That slider is getting pounded, right? Go back to 2022. Hitters were only hitting 114 against his slider with a 134 slugging. This year so far, they're hitting 234 against the slider, but with a 468 slugging. It's just a very hittable pitch right now, and that's his put-away pitch, right? When he has that big fastball going and just that nasty slider, he's like unhittable, right? But he just doesn't have that same stuff right now. I do think it's going to come back, but he's going through some hard times right now. So, yeah, Mets fans, they're feeling it, right? As for the offense, up and down, 22nd in the last 7 in WRC+. JD Martinez is hitting pretty well lately. He was out with the flu today. I guess there's a bit of a flu going through the Mets organization right now, going through the clubhouse, I mean. Pete Alonso, Marte, they've been hitting well, but Lindor is slumping. So just a lot of inconsistencies right now with this Mets offense. Getting back to the pitching, that's been up and down as well. Quintana, Minaya, they had no decisions against the Phillies. The up and down offense not helping them very much. Budo, he was okay in his start against the Phillies. A lot of people scratching their head because he got sent back down to AAA, even, having a good ERA and a decent FIP. ERA at a 3.08, FIP at a 4.14, but he got sent back down. And a big thing is just the lack of control. He's walking a lot of guys, about 5 walks per 9 right now. He's had, if you go back to each of his starts, there's been kind of one bad inning for him, and he's a competitor at the end of the day, and he gets himself back on track in his starts. But they said they want him to kind of go back down, work on some consistency, and he'll be back up eventually. McGill, Lucchesi, they got called back up, so let's see. But yeah, the Mets, very interesting week. The Mets always find themselves in the news. Here we go. Number 18, got the Nationals. Listen, I was all over the Nationals. Why is it when I talk about a team, either positively or negatively, immediately they do the negative, or they do the opposite? So if it's positive, they get negative. If it's negative, then all of a sudden it goes to positive, right? Every time, I swear. And I was so high on the Nationals not too long ago, and they just picked this week, after all my nice things to say, to just lose a lot, losing 2 out of 3 to the White Sox. They got swept by the Phillies. The one thing with the Nationals, I was saying consistently, right? Not great bats, but they had speed, and they were taking advantage on the base paths. But the bad bats catching up to them here this week. Only 16 runs scored in the 6 games they played. Trevor Williams, he's been pitching pretty well. Mackenzie Gore, Corbin, they turned in good starts, but there's just not a lot of run support for this for the pitching staff right now. So the Nationals, let's see if they can get this going. I think it's fun, man, when a team like this, where they're kind of in the middle of a rebuild, and I like that, right? You had the Orioles a couple of years ago, the Reds last year. So let's see if the Nationals can get back on track. Number 17, we got the Giants. Hey, starting off the week, with a series loss to the Dodgers, but sweeping the Rockies this past weekend. And the offense has been great. 3rd in offense in the last 7 games. Luis Matos, man, this guy's been red hot, hitting over 400 with over a 1,300 OPS the last 7 games with 2 homers. Had an unbelievable catch against the Dodgers, and what a catch that was. Go watch that back. I mean, fantastic. He's definitely contributing a lot. The starting pitching has been a bit up and down. Logan Webb, he did look great against the Dodgers. 6 shutout innings. Kyle Harrison was fine against the Rockies. Jordan Hicks was okay against the Dodgers. But Mason Black, Keaton Wynn, they got roughed up this past week. Now Keaton Wynn is on the IL with a forearm strain. So yeah, overall, the Giants, they're ended their week on a good note. Hey, Maury's life in the chat, right? You said you're feeling good, and hey, you ended the week on a good note. Here we go. Moving on to number 16. My Red Sox. Bad week for my Red Sox, man. Losing 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals this past weekend. Losing 3 out of 4 to the Rays. Rafael Devers, man. This guy is just tearing the cover off the ball right now. 5 home runs. Five straight home runs here. Or 5 straight games with a home run. Tyler O'Neill, going back to St. Louis this past weekend, hit a bomb today. Got the offense going. They scored a lot of runs today. But getting a little concerned here about Vaughn Grissom. Vaughn Grissom, he was already coming back from an adductor strain, and then he caught the flu, and everything just seems messed up with him right now. Like, he lost a ton of weight, after catching the flu, and nothing looks right with him right now. It's just a bunch of weak contact. He doesn't look confident at the plate. The approach, just, I don't know, he's falling behind in counts. I don't know, man. It's sad to see, you see Chris Sale doing what he's doing with the Braves, and we got Vaughn Grissom not really doing anything, right? I don't know. It's kind of tough to swallow that as a Red Sox fan, to be honest. The starting pitching, right? They kind of, that's been their strength this year. Andrew Bailey came over, and he's done fantastic work, but starting to show, some struggles this past week. Cutter Crawford, Tanner Houck, they've been fine for the most part, but they did take L's. Cutter Crawford did look good against the Cardinals. Brian Bayo, people in Boston, they're very high on Brian Bayo, but this is a guy where I've sort of, there's a lot of Red Sox fans out there that think, okay, this is the next ace of the Red Sox. The way I always looked at Brian Bayo is more of a guy like a Marcus Stroman kind of a type, right? Like, you know, a 2 or a 3 in a rotation. And he's been up and down this year so far, right? He got roughed up by the Cardinals. The bullpen hasn't been as effective lately. So, you know, just a bad week for the Red Sox. They dropped down a few spots from last week. I believe they were either 12 or 13 last week. So, yeah, they definitely fall here. At number 15, we got the Rangers. I actually felt a little weird putting the Rangers here. I might, you know, there's one team that I did put ahead of them. I might be getting ahead of myself just a little bit, but I'll explain in just a second. But for the Rangers, a bad week for them, losing both their series against the Guardians and the Angels. Listen, they're getting good pitching, you know, from Gray, Lorenzen. You had a couple of good starts. You did okay today in a good start this past week as well. Arena had a decent start this past week. Jack Leiter, though. The Jack Leiter experience has it has just not been working here. It's not working. I don't know, man. Jack Leiter, he was in trade rumors a lot this past offseason. And, you know, we've seen what he's, you know, done in the minor leagues over the last couple of years, you know, high draft pick, you know, not too long ago. And the results just haven't been there. And, you know, he was doing well in the minor leagues this year, looked like a different guy, but he's come up here so far, he's looking bad. You know, my goodness, last start, 1 2/3, 6 earned. I mean, overall, he's had 3 starts, 9 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 17 runs in 9 1/3. He's given up 3 homers. I don't know, man. You know, you always want to give the rookies time, and you always want to, you know, give these guys, you know, as many starts as they can, but he's just looking rough. Like, I don't know. I wonder what the Rangers, how they'll approach, you know, Jack Leiter in the future. If he keeps up with these bad starts, I wonder what the future could be like for him. I wonder if he ends up getting traded somewhere. We'll see. But yeah, not off to a good start. The offense, you know, sure, Corey Seager had a home run today. Adolis Garcia had a few home runs this week. Semien with a couple of home runs this week. But you know, they did have the walk-off hit by pitch on Saturday. But the offense just hasn't been great lately. You know, they're getting good pitching, but they're just not getting the run support consistently. So the Rangers did drop them down to 15. I did put the Rays ahead. This I could see probably ticking off some Rangers fans. I can already see the comments. You're going to be coming in there like, oh, the Rangers, how could you drop them down? But you know what? I don't know, man. You know, anytime the Rays are counted, you know, people count against them, they always just find a way to just get it going here. And they're playing some good baseball lately. Like I said, winning 3 out of 4 against my Red Sox. Maybe there's even a little bit of bias there just because I watched every one of those games and I just saw the Rays just doing their thing. Like every single year, they seem to just do their thing. But I don't know, man. They just look good in that series, winning 2 out of 3 against Toronto as well. The offense is clicking, right? 11th in WRC plus over the last 7 games coming into today. Yandy Diaz is picking it up. Paredes with a homer today. Lowe, he's contributing as well. Arozarena is having a pretty bad season overall, but he did hit his 8th home run this past week, so at least he's providing that pop. But overall, the offense is starting to be a bit more consistent. The bullpen was a big issue for the Rays for the early part of the year, but they are stepping up. A 2.19 ERA over the last 7 games coming into today. So you're starting to see this Rays team get it together a little bit. Let's see. This might be a bit of a gift, putting the Rays this high. I think there is an argument for them to be a little bit lower, but I'll hold here, right? Because the Rangers, they just had the bad week, right? I think you could have the argument where the Rangers, despite having a bad week, could be at number 14, keep the Rays at 15, but I don't know. I'm just feeling that right now, but you all know every week it's different, right? So we'll see. Number 13, got the Tigers. Got a lot of notes for the Tigers, a lot of notes. Up and down week, right? Losing their first series of the week, but then winning 2 out of 3 against the right. It was. I mean, I don't know why. Why are the Diamondbacks like throwing me off right now? Was it the Diamondbacks? I don't know what happened. My brain just went blank on the Diamondbacks. Yes, it was the Diamondbacks. They won 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks. But offense continues to struggle for the Tigers. Continues to struggle. Held scoreless in 2 games against Miami earlier in the week. They did show up against Arizona. Wenceel Perez, he's been hot. Torkelson, that power starting to come around. A couple of home runs in his last 7 games. How about Javier Baez? Javier Baez is actually heating up, ladies and gentlemen. Hitting .333 over his last 7 games. Javier Baez, can we actually see a resurgence from him? Jack Flaherty did look good against the Diamondbacks. 6 innings, 2 earned. Overall, he's having a good season for the Tigers right now. A 3.79 ERA, a 2.78 FIP in 9 starts. How about Jack Flaherty? Tarek Skubal, 6 innings, 6 Ks against the D-backs. Olsen, 8 shutout against Miami. Casey Mize, quality star against the Marlins to take the loss, but they're getting the pitching. They're just not getting the offense. That's the one thing with this Tigers team, man. So, number 12, we got the Padres. Actually, how are the Padres looking? They're playing right now, I think. Or is that game final? Let's see. I believe that game went final. They were up big. I think they were up like 9-0. What happened to that game? Where did it go? They won 9-1. My goodness. Yu Darvish pitching great tonight. Let's actually go to the box score here. Because again, this night game that's happening, it's hard for me to focus on it. Okay, all right. So yeah, Yu Darvish, 200th win between Major League Baseball as well as in Japan. So Yu Darvish, bit of a milestone for him, but Bryce Elder, he got knocked around tonight by the Padres. My goodness. But Darvish, he looked great tonight. 7 innings, 2 hits, 9 Ks. Yu Darvish, man, has a 2.08 ERA so far. Ha-Seong Kim homered in this one. Campusano homered. Jake Cronenworth homered. The Padres, they got swept by the Rockies earlier in the week, but they've won their first 2 games now against the Braves. There was a postponed game, the rain out yesterday, so I believe they're playing a doubleheader tomorrow. Let me just confirm that for everyone. Doubleheader tomorrow. So 2 games there. So a lot of Padres Braves tomorrow. But Padres first game against the Braves a couple days ago, they struck out 18 batters. Waldron, 5 2/3, 10 Ks. Goodness, bullpen was excellent after him. Jackson Merrill, red hot lately. Bogart starting to heat up a little bit. Couple of homers in his last 7. But yeah, the Padres. The Padres, man. Who do we got next? We got number 11 here. Wow, I decided to make a bold move, ladies and gentlemen. I made a bold move. But is it really that bold considering how much they've been losing? I decided to drop the Twins out of the top 10. They got swept by the Yankees and the Guardians this week. I mean, my goodness, what the heck happened to the Twins? I don't know what to think of this Twins team right now. I mean, they were red hot there for a while. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I had concerns about the Twins coming into the year. And then what the heck happened here? Oh, my goodness, let me go check the scores here. Yeah, so they got shut out. They got held to 1 run against the Yankees in that series. In the Guardian series, they scored 8 runs total in 3 games. I mean, my goodness, this offense is completely tanked. They're ice cold. They're last in offense in the last 7. Starting pitching has been pretty up and down. 5.01 ERA over the last 7 games for the starting pitching. GT Sports, how are the Mariners top 10? Because the Twins absolutely stink. That's why the Mariners are top 10, my friend. That's why barely. But my goodness, because the Twins stink. I think that's pretty evident. But the Twins, they were red hot there. They've just gone completely ice cold. Is this what the Twins are going to be this year? Kind of this very up and down team? We'll see. But everyone, before I do move on to the top 10, I just want to go over tonight's sponsor. And you saw the little intro in the beginning of the show. Tonight's show is brought to you by BetUS. And listen, the night may be over, but we got a full slate of games on for tomorrow. And taking a look here. So, like I said, we got a lot of Padres Braves tomorrow. So, as of right now, the Braves, the Braves not playing great right now. Losing the first couple of the Padres. Can they get themselves together? Padres at plus 115. So, if you were feeling, feeling a little spicy, maybe you could take the plus 115 with the Padres. We'll see. But we got the Brewers and the Marlins. D-backs against the Dodgers. Got a divisional matchup this week. Let's see, the Dodgers are playing great baseball lately. They are heavily favored in that one for tomorrow. The Blue Jays, not playing great baseball, but look how the White Sox started this past week. Maybe you're feeling spicy about the White Sox, plus 170. Blue Jays are heavily favored at minus 200. We'll see. Got the Red Sox and the Rays on again tomorrow. I am unfortunately not going to one of these games this week. I just don't have the time. I am close to Tampa, but I will not be able to make it there. I will be going to Boston soon, though, in less than a month to go see the Red Sox and the Yankees. That'll be fun. But yeah, we got the Mariners and the Yankees on tomorrow. Tigers and the Royals. That's last year that sounded like kind of a weak matchup, but hey, that's a pretty good divisional matchup this year. Astros are hot. They're at minus 200 there. Guardians, playing really well, going up against a weak Mets team. Can you maybe see the Mets maybe getting hot there? We've got the Twins and the Nationals. Like I said, we just talked about the Twins here. They're ice cold. Nationals at plus 145. They're cold too, but hey, with the way the Twins are looking lately, maybe you want to go with the Nationals in that one. I got the Orioles and the Cardinals. They're both at 105. Orioles, playing great baseball, but the Cardinals are heating up. So we'll see there. And then you got game 2 with the Padres and the Braves. And again, Braves are heavily favored at minus 230. We'll see. But everyone, go check it out. You got a full slate on tomorrow. And it's not just baseball. We got basketball going on right now, too. So my Celtics going to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers. Knicks fans, Mets fans, Knicks fans, they can't catch a break right now. But the Pacers, listen, could the Pacers shock the world and knock off my Celtics? The Pacers have been a pretty tough team this past year. I remember Jared Carabas earlier in the year was saying, "Wow, hey, so the Pacers are good." Was I saying Padres? I can't remember. But the Pacers, they're looking pretty good. Are they going to be a good team this year? And here they are going up against the Celtics. And then we got as the Wolves Nuggets, or as that's going to a game 7, right? So you got the Mavericks advancing to the Western Conference Finals. So, listen, a part of me, I want to see Anthony Edwards, man. I want to see what that guy can do in a finals. I'm just saying. But if it ends up being the Wolves, Mavericks, that'd be a pretty fun one. But Nuggets, obviously, defending champs. So let's see what happens there. But it's not just baseball. You got basketball. Right? Got the hockey playoffs. Unfortunately, my Bruins heading home early because of the freaking Panthers again. But, yeah, like I said, full slate of games. For baseball, got hockey, got basketball. We got golf going on too. We got everything going on. So check out BetUS. The link is in the description down below. You get a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Not a bad deal if you ask me. Just clicking on the link, signing up, that really helps support the channel. It goes a very long way. Everyone, let's get back to it here. Oh, did the Wolves win? Oh, the Wolves won. Good for the Wolves, man. I got to plug in my iPad here. Oh, the Wolves won. Wow. I'll always have like a nostalgia feeling about the Wolves because I was such a Kevin Garnett fan back in the day, even before he went to the Celtics. I loved Kevin Garnett, man. I was like, I don't know. I was just a big fan. I just liked his game, man. So it's nice to see the Wolves, doing some things again. I remember Kevin Garnett was with the Wolves and they couldn't get by, the Lakers a couple of years, I believe. Hey, Anthony Edwards, man, that guy's a beast. So Wolves, Celtics, finals. I need it. I need it. I need it. Here we go. To the top 10 we go. Let's get this started. All righty. At number 10. At number 10. We got the Mariners. We got the Mariners at number 10 here. And listen, you know, the Mariners, they got really helped out here by the Twins, right? I was thinking about, you know, even keeping the Twins at number 10, but with how bad the Twins have been playing, the Mariners got a bit of a birthday gift getting into the top 10 here. You know, the Mariners, you know, losing 2 out of 3 to the Orioles this weekend, but they won 2 out of 3 against a good Royals team. But the offense, they've been hitting a lot better lately. 7th in offense in the last 7 games. Julio Rodriguez, Luke Raley, Dylan Moore, they've been hitting well. Cal Riley, Mitch Haniger, they've been productive. But you know what this Mariners offense is. It's an up and down offense. They strike out a lot. You know, let's see. I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time keeping faith in the Mariners offense to be consistent. But George Kirby looked great against the Royals this past week. 7 innings, 3 hits, 6 strikeouts overall. Gave up 5 earned against the Orioles today. So an up and down week for George Kirby. Brian Wu picked up the win against the Royals earlier in the week. Luis Castillo has been solid his last couple of starts. So the Mariners, again, getting a bit of help from the Twins, getting a top 10 spot for this week. Let's see if the Mariners can hang on to it next week. At number 9, we got the Cubbies. Listen, the Cubs, you know, not a great week. You know, let me actually pull up here. Let me pull up here the Cubs. And let's see here. Hold on one second. Let me pull up. I think I made a mistake in my notes. Yeah, they lost 3. No, I'm good. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Pirates, losing 2 out of 3 to the Braves, so they had a bad week. You know, I could see the argument maybe kicking the Cubs out of the top 10. I could see some people thinking that too. The offense has not been there. They have just not been getting the production. They got the walk-off on Saturday, a controversial call. Looked like Bellinger was out sliding into home plate. I don't know. But the Cubs got a bit of a birthday gift there, but the offense needs to start picking it up. Luckily, they keep getting great pitching from Shota Imanaga. This is crazy what this guy is doing. It is absolutely nuts. Everyone was on the Yamamoto train. The Yamamoto hype was just through the roof coming into the year. And Imanaga is setting the world on fire. This guy's insane. He had 7 shutout against the Pirates. He had 5 shutout against the Braves earlier in the week. 9 starts, 53 in 2/3 innings pitched. He's 5-0, a 0.84 ERA, a 2.21 FIP, 9.7 strikeouts per 9. Shota Imanaga is off the charts. Like, I can't believe this. Like, coming into the year, I remember the Imanaga hype. I'm thinking, Imanaga, I don't know, man. Like, but then I started warming up a little bit more to it. I'm thinking, like, okay, I think he could be, a good mid-rotation guy. This guy's looking like the best bargain in off-season history, in free agent history. I mean, my goodness, this guy's pitching out of this world right now. I mean, let me actually go pull up Imanaga. I'm going to have some fun here for a second. Imanaga, he signed a 4-year, $53 million deal. It could get up to $80 million if the options get exercised. But right now, so he has an AAV of $13.3 million per year. This year, he has already beat that. He is, so far, through 9 starts, he's been worth $15 million. He has already beat his salary for this year. What a bargain. Not bad if you ask me. It's not just him, though. Javier Assad has been pitching well this year. 6 shutout, 7 Ks against the Braves. I'm just saying, I see you, Lock Smart in the chat. Imanaga, Assad, 1-2 punch. I mean, we're all looking for Justin Steele, this year. Steele's been a little up and down, started the year late. Jamison Tyone, he's been running into some bumps lately. But hey, give it up for Imanaga. But the Cubs, though, the Cubs, they got helped here as well, I think, by the Twins. The Twins playing so bad lately. The Cubs, they did pick up a couple of wins this week, luckily. If the Twins had themselves a good week, I think you could see the possibility where maybe the Cubs get knocked out of the top 10, if a couple more dominoes fall. We'll see. But the Cubs, they got to get this together here. They got to get it together. At number 8, we got the Brewers. Started off their week well, winning 2 out of 3 against the Pirates, losing 2 out of 3 against the Astros. But the offense continues to be productive. They're 3rd in offense on the year, 5th this past week. Joey Ortiz, solid. How about William Contreras this past weekend? 13 pitch at bat against Justin Verlander. Ended the at-bat with a 3-run bomb. Gotta love that. Anytime I think of a long at-bat, excuse my giraffe neck Robbie, but I think of Alex Cora again. Who is he going against? I can't remember. Who is Alex Cora going against? Who is pitching against him? But it was way back in the day, in his playing days with the Dodgers. How many pitches was it? It was like a 20-pitch at-bat or like 18 pitches or something, and then he hits a home run. I'm just saying. But William Contreras, great at-bat against Verlander there. Chirios started to heat up a little bit, had a 2-run bomb against the Pirates, and offense continues to be great. They're getting by with the pitching that they have. They're getting solid work from the bullpen lately. Good bullpen game against the Astros this past weekend. 4 1/3, no earned. McGill getting his 6th save. So they're getting it done without Devin Williams. But like I said, the starting pitching, they're kind of just getting by, right? Robert Gasser, he got called up recently. He had 5 innings of work the other day, picked up the win against the Pirates. Joe Ross also 5 innings, picking up the win against the Pirates. So, the Brewers, again, up and down week, but offensively, you got to love what this team's doing. At number 7, I got the Royals. And another team here, up and down. Lots of up and down weeks for teams in the last couple of weeks, it seems. But the Royals sweeping the A's this past weekend, but losing 2 out of 3 to the Mariners as well. Offense is just slumping as a whole. Bobby Wick Jr., he's actually hit him, into a bit of a slump here. Salvador Perez, he's been hitting well. Massey, Maikel Garcia, Velasquez, they have been productive. They each homered this past week, but they need this offense to be a bit more consistent. Starting pitching has been fantastic. How about Seth Lugo? I mean, is there anything else to say? I mean, this guy's been fantastic. I mean, who would have thought Cole Reagan, Seth Lugo would be one of the best 1-2 punches in baseball this year? The last 2 starts, he's won both his starts the last 2 times out. 14 strikeouts per 9 over those 2 starts. He went 5 2/3, 10 Ks against the A's on Saturday. Reagan, 7 shutout innings against the A's. Yes, the A's slumping lately. The Royals, man, getting great pitching. You got to love it. Brady Singer's having a good year. Royals, man, playing some good baseball. Number 6, we got the Guardians, winning 2 out of 3 against the Rangers, sweeping the Twins. A great week for the Guardians. They bump up a couple of spots from last week. Offense has been just awesome the last week. They're 6 in offense over the last 7 games. J-Ram, home run today. Had a home run earlier in the week as well. Jimenez, Tyler Freeman, they've been hitting great. Getting good production there. Logan Allen, 6 shutout innings today. Had a solid start earlier in the week. Bibee, Carrasco, McKenzie, solid for the most part. But they got the best bullpen in the game right now. The Guardians, if they just get enough starting pitching and they hand it off to the bullpen, they're a hard team to beat. Number 5, we got the Braves. I don't know, man. This is my World Series pick in the National League. I'm starting not to feel pretty good about the Braves, man. They've dropped the first couple now to the Padres. Did win 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. The offense, I think people, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think it's just we saw what they did last year offensively, and it's not the same this year. So I feel like people are they've soured on the Braves a little bit just because it's not what we saw last year with the offense. Matt Olson, though, they're 8th in offense overall compared to last year where they were 1st, right, for pretty much the entire year. Matt Olson is heating up, though, over his last 7 games, hitting close to 500 with an OPS over 1,200. So Matt Olson, let's go here. Also, the Braves, they picked up Zach Short. He was with the Red Sox for a few games. He's been pretty productive since going to the Braves, or since they picked him up there. Marcell Ozuna continues to have a great year. One of the top hitters in baseball this year so far. Chris Sale, man. Chris Sale. I talked about it earlier. Vaughn Grissom. Like, it's like, goodness gracious. Like, I understand, like, the Red Sox, they wanted to, like, clear some salary. And, you know, Chris Sale been having a lot of injuries with them, you know, over the last few years. And he goes to the Braves. And I say it every week, but, you know, I said, listen, if Sale is healthy, this is a guy that's going to be a really good pickup for the Braves. And another great start. 7 innings, 9 Ks against the Cubs. Fried was pretty meh against the Padres, 3 earned and 4 1/3. Bit of an interesting story. I forgot to mention this with the Rays earlier. It came out a little earlier. Let me actually see who reported this. I just want to make sure I give credit where it's due. Oh, I forgot to mention this as well with San Francisco. Sorry, they had a good weekend. Jung-Hoo Lee out for the year. Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot to mention that. Jung-Hoo Lee out for the year. Season-ending surgery on his shoulder. What a loss, man, for the Giants. I mean, this is a guy that was, you know, I was very excited about Jung-Hoo Lee. And, you know, unfortunately, his first year in the majors ends in just a terrible way. But really quick, I just want to mention this story that came out earlier from, Bob Nightingale. Of course, Bob Nightingale all over the news. He says here, the Braves are keeping a close eye on Zach Eflin as a trade target. You know, when you think of the Rays, it's not all that surprising, right? Because the Rays, you know, yeah, they signed him to the richest deal in Rays history for a free agent. Wander Franco got the biggest deal, right? But for a free agent, Zach Eflin. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Rays ended up trading, because that's what the Rays do, right? They, you know, even if they got a guy under control for a couple of years, you know, they try to sell high on guys. And could they end up doing that with Zach Eflin? And, you know, coming into the year, obviously, you know, Spencer Strider, you know, lost for the season. So Zach Eflin, this is a guy who's been pitching pretty well over the last couple of years now. He's looked healthy. That could be a good pickup for the Braves if it ends up going that way. But what I think this also shows is that even if the Braves end up not, you know, trading for Zach Eflin, the Braves are looking to add a starting pitcher. So that's going to be a storyline heading into trade deadline season. So that'll be something fun to watch there. But we got a super chat here from SoundFX, $10 super chat. SoundFX, fantastic supporter of the channel every week. You are always dropping me a 10. I appreciate you, my friend. Braves shouldn't be top 5. Okay. Won the series versus the Cubs, only to drop 3 duds, 2 to San Diego. Pitching getting blown up. Offense still inconsistent. Shake this lineup up. Demote Elder. 2 versus San Diego, then 3 against the Cubs and the Pirates. Yeah, they got a long week, right? Starting off the week with a doubleheader, and then they got 2 series after that. Long week for the Braves coming up. But yeah, I can see where Braves fans, you're a little concerned, right? Because like I said, it's not the same offense as it was last year. It's different, right? Ronald Acuna Jr. is not having the year that he had last year. Matt Olson is finally starting to heat up. But yeah, I agree. I think, you know, maybe you could see a shakeup in some time here. We'll see. But yeah, SoundFX. I completely understand your concerns here with this Braves team. I still think they're a top 5. I think you could argue maybe the Guardians could be a top 5 team because they, you know, had a good week. We'll see. But the Braves, I'll hold strong at number 5. I'll hold strong at number 5. But Zach Eflin would be a good pickup for them, though. Number 4, we got the Orioles. Hey, solid week for the Orioles, splitting with Toronto, winning 2 out of 3 against the Mariners. They're 5th in offense on the year. Rushman has been fantastic lately, slugging over 900 in his last 7 with 4 homers. Gunnar Henderson, this guy's going for a home run title, hit his 16th home run on Saturday. Let me just make sure. He didn't hit another one today, did he? Did he hit another one today? I don't think he did. Just want to confirm. He hit his 15th home run on Saturday. I apologize. 15th home run. But he's going for a home run title. He's had himself a good year, hitting 270, a 348 on base, 946 OPS overall. Good year for Gunnar Henderson. Starting pitching. It's been solid all year. They rank 6th overall. Grayson Rodriguez looked solid against the Mariners in a no decision. Corbin Burns looked good against Toronto. 6 innings, 1 earned. The bullpen, right? We saw, some drama going on with the bullpen, right? Craig Kimbrell, a guy that's not really being trusted by the Orioles moving forward. Expect them to look for something on the trade market for that bullpen. Biak Cano, he took a loss against Seattle on Saturday. There was a blown save on Monday against the Blue Jays. So it feels like the Orioles need something for this bullpen. Could you see the Orioles maybe go for something sooner rather than later? Maybe you could look at the Marlins, maybe, Tanner Scott, old friend, maybe. Number three, how about the Yankees lately? The Yankees are red hot. They are red hot. Let me actually just pull up here just the updated standings. And they are now 2 games ahead of the Orioles. The Orioles did win their series against the Yankees recently, but the Yankees are just red hot right now. They've won 7 straight, 8-2 in their last 10. Juan Soto is just looking like an MVP. I mean, my goodness. But Aaron Judge, former MVP, he is red hot lately. Let me actually pull up the updated numbers with Aaron Judge over his last 7 games. This guy's just going crazy. Everyone was worried about Aaron Judge. I'm like, why are people worried about Aaron Judge? Why? I think I didn't see this personally, but I saw someone else tweet about it saying people were talking about sending Aaron Judge down to the minor leagues. And I'm like, what? Who said that? Who even suggested that? If anyone suggested Aaron Judge should go down to the minors, you need to go take a nap. That is one of the most insane things I've ever heard. Luckily, I didn't see that story from the original source, that suggestion from the original source. I might have lost it. But Judge, this guy's going crazy. Over his last 7 games, listen to this. Hitting .500 with a .625 on base and a slugging over 1,200. 4 homers, 7 RBIs. 8 walks compared to 6 Ks. Aaron Judge is back, ladies and gentlemen. Giancarlo Stanton. What has got Romano Jr. Ramirez? Worst rankings ever. How are the Rangers ahead of the Astros on rankings? Romano Jr. We have got to stop. You had one good week. You had your first good week. Your first good week of the year, and now you think the Astros should be in the top 15? What is the matter with you? Go to bed. It's bedtime, my friend. I think it's past your bedtime. That's hogwash. What are you talking about? Stop it. Where was I? Goodness gracious. Giancarlo Stanton's looking good. 3 homers over his last 7. Like I said, Juan Soto, this guy's just awesome. And they are looking to do an extension with Juan Soto. I mean, that was obvious, right? But Steinbrenner made some comments on a podcast this past week saying they usually don't like to talk extensions during the season. Scott Boras usually doesn't like to because it's a distraction. But Hal Steinbrenner himself also said he doesn't like to do them. But he said Juan Soto is a different case, where he is a different case. He's a unicorn, right? And he's obviously been hitting so well. The Yankees need to sit down and they need to figure this out. Listen, even if it takes a $500 million contract, go get Juan Soto signed up. Get that done. I think Juan Soto, you're probably looking at like a 13-year deal minimum, 14, maybe even 15. I don't know. That would be getting into past his age 40 season. But I could see at least a 13-year deal. I think, honestly, over the course of the deal, I would imagine it would have to be right around 40 million per season, like 38 million minimum per season. I believe if you did a 13-year deal for 38 million per year, that would be 494 million. I think that's worth it. I even see here in the chat, you're saying here 560 to 580 million. I mean, that would be a lot. Baseball trade values at 10 million, I think they're projecting for 380. So that would be 38 million per year. So I don't know. I think it's going to be around 500. I totally think that. But yeah, I could see them getting an extension done with Soto because he just looks like a Yankee. I don't know, man. That's just me. But the Yankees, they've been fantastic, not just offensively, but on the pitching side of things too. Rodon looked great today. 6 innings, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts. How about Luis Gil? This guy's fantastic his last 2 starts. Only 1 earned run in his last 2 starts with 17 strikeouts. Clark Schmidt worked into the 8th inning against the Twins. I believe that is the longest start of his career. I could be wrong about that, but that feels like it's at least in that territory. I think that's the longest start of his career, 8 innings, unless he had like a complete game somewhere. I don't know. But we got Cortez, Stroman picking up wins. What else is there to say? The Yankees look great. Now, we are at the top 2. I had a very tough time. With this. Very tough time. Also, I'm seeing you in the chat here. Am I pronouncing it wrong? Because I've never actually seen... I was saying Gil. I've never actually seen him pitch, like, on TV. I guess I'm saying it wrong. It's Heel? Oh, I apologize. I thought it was Gil. I am so sorry. It is Heel. Apologies for that, Yankee fans. But yeah, I'll admit, I've never actually watched him pitch. I've seen highlights. I've seen the highlights. He looks fantastic. But apologies, Yankee fans. I'm sorry. Luis Heel. I'm sorry. Getting to the top 2. This was very tough for me this week. I was going back and forth on this. There are arguments for both sides here between the Dodgers and the Phillies. There are totally arguments for each one. You could go either way. I honestly think it's like a chocolate vanilla kind of a thing. It's like, what's your flavor? I really think that because they both have arguments. Oh no, of course. Carla Sanchez is in the chat. Oh no, of course. So when I have one of the hardest decisions of my life, that's when one of the biggest diehard Dodger fans have shown up. Oh, brutal. Absolutely brutal. I'm going to make either, bunch of Dodger fans unhappy or a bunch of Philly fans unhappy, no matter which way I go. I'm just going to spit it out. I know you're tired of me just rambling on here. Let me actually just make sure. Hold on. Let me actually make sure I have it right. Yep. Okay. I do. I decided to make a bold call, a bold move. I'm going Dodgers at number 2, and I'm going Phillies at number 1. Both have arguments for the number 1 spot. They do. Like, here's what I want. I want Phillies fans to acknowledge that Dodger fans have an argument to be number 1, and I want Dodger fans to acknowledge that Philly fans have an argument to be number 1 too. You could go either way, all right? I'm leaning Phillies by like the tiniest of hairs. I just love the pitching. They're first in starting pitching on the year, second in relief pitching on the year. The Dodgers have the better offense. I think we can all agree. I think we can all find common ground. The Dodgers offense is better than the Phillies, but the Phillies is good too. They're 4th in offense on the year. So when I'm seeing first in starting pitching, second in relief pitching, 4th in offense, I'm looking at a more well-rounded team right now for the Phillies. And they had a good week. They won 3 out of 4 against the Mets. They swept the Nationals. You know, I could see people saying, oh, those are weak teams. Well, you know, and nothing against the Dodgers either. The Dodgers had a good week too. They won 2 out of 3 against the Giants, 3 out of 4 against the Reds. Ohtani had the walk-off today. Got to love that. But the Phillies, to me, I just think when you look at the stats, when you look at their rankings, they're just doing better when it comes to the pitching than the Dodgers. Now, there is also an argument for the Dodgers to be in the number 1 spot because the Phillies, I'm sorry to say this, Phillies fans, you can't get mad at me, Phillies fans, because I put the Phillies in the number 1 spot, so you can't get mad at me. But I will tell you, Phillies fans, the Phillies, when it comes to strength of schedule, even though it is early, so I don't usually look too much at the strength of schedule at this point. I need it to play out a little bit more. But up to this point, the Phillies have had the easiest schedule so far. That's not my opinion. That's just the numbers, right? When all the strength of schedule rankings out there, the Phillies have had the easiest schedule. The Dodgers are not far behind, though. I think the Phillies had the easiest, and the Dodgers were 2 spots behind them. I could be wrong on that. But the Dodgers, they've also had some favorable matchups too. For the Dodgers, though, Ohtani's hitting great. I mean, what a season he's having. I mean, he's hitting .353 with a .423 on base, a .658 slugging, 13 homers, 33 RBIs, 11 stolen bases. Mookie's heating up over an 1,100 OPS and 2 homers in his last 7 games. He's hitting .337, a .435 on base, a .553 slugging, 8 homers, 29 RBIs. Let me know, Dodgers fans. Let me know. I asked Doug over at Dodgers Nation the other day on the Barreled Up podcast, who does he think is if you were to pick an MVP right now, who would you go with? Would you go with Mookie Betts or would you go with Shohei Ohtani? He actually said Mookie Betts because Mookie has been playing shortstop, but Ohtani has had the better year offensively. So let me know who you think the MVP is. They both have a great argument, right? Because Betts is playing a position that he's never played, right? Obviously in the majors, right? I'm curious to see what Dodgers fans, what they think about that. But for the Dodgers, they're also getting some good starting pitching, right? Walker Buehler. Pages also homered this past weekend, so Pages, he's been great. Buehler looked good against the Reds today, 6 shutout innings. Gavin Stone looked good against the Giants, 6 innings, 1 earned. The Dodgers, they played good baseball this week. It's just, I think the Phillies right now, I like their pitching more, right? And it's not against the Dodgers, anything what they've been doing. I just think the Phillies have been a bit better, right? Nola, he's been awesome. He was good this past weekend. Wheeler had one little cough up there against the Marlins, but he's looked great for the most part. But for the Phillies, right? Like I said, they're 4th in offense. Alec Boehm with a 3-run homer today. Alec Boehm is having a great season so far. How about Cody Clemens? I mean, this guy, he's really trying to, get himself some playing time right now. He came up big, a game-tying homer in the bottom of the 9th on Saturday, and 28 at-bats so far. He's hitting .321 with a 1.166 OPS, 3 homers, 10 RBIs. Cody Clemens looking to get some playing time. Rob Thompson was saying he could definitely start seeing some more time, maybe in one of the corners in the outfield. We'll see. But he's been hitting well. Bryson Stott's been hitting well lately, hitting over 400 over his last 7 with an OPS over 1,300 and a couple of homers. Like I said, Wheeler, Nola, they've been pitching well. Nola was good today, 7 innings, 2 earned. Wheeler picked up a win this week. Again, I love the Dodgers. I mean, they're playing great. But I love the Phillies, too, and I think maybe I'm just a little more biased towards pitching. I think the Phillies have had more consistent pitching, not just in the rotation, but in the bullpen as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. I mean, something probably, will happen this week, and then maybe we'll flip it back the other way next Sunday. But everyone, I just want to thank you for coming out tonight. It's always a pleasure seeing all of you come out for power rankings, and apologies again for the late start. Like I said, the camera wasn't working in the beginning, so Glad we got that worked out. I was afraid we weren't even going to do this tonight. But everyone, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure seeing all of you in the chat, just coming out and supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And thank you for the super chats tonight. Always appreciate that. Always appreciate the support. And speaking of support, make sure you check out BetUS. They are helping keep the lights on here, and can't thank them enough. The link is in the description down below. Again, take advantage of that bonus. And even just signing up, making a small deposit, really does go a long way. Everyone, thank you again. More videos this coming week. We'll be back for Power Rankings next Sunday night. And we'll be also, myself and Jim, we'll be talking to Giraffe Neck Mark for the Barreled Up podcast this week. So make sure you check that out as well. Make sure you download the Barreled Up podcast, whether you listen on Spotify, Google, Stitcher, Apple, wherever. Myself and Jim, we're talking every week over there. That's all I got for tonight, everyone. Thank you so much. Go have yourself a great week this coming week. Have yourself a good rest of your night, and I'll talk to you next time. I keep hitting the wrong button every single time.